This is Dan White with my post-game Bethune-Cookman report. Go Canes! The attendance at Hard Rock for Saturday's game at 3:30 was the fourth highest home opener. Attendance was 56,800. It was the fourth highest home opener since Miami moved to Hard Rock 15 years ago. The excitement is through the roof for the Canes this year. Miami beat Bethune 70-13. That's right, 70-13. So it was Bethune-Cookman. Well, I have a clip for you from Coach Cristobal, a pregame clip before the Bethune-Cookman game, and this is what he said.
More consistency, again, that word, and felt really confident leaving the practice on Saturday, which was very much like what a game flow would be like, and then yesterday's practice as well. So we feel like we gained ground, we made progress, and we think our best days are still ahead of us, so we're still going to keep grinding.
And one quick follow-up, not just related to receivers, and certainly with no disrespect to Bethune, but is week one a week where you're hoping to see twos, maybe even some threes?
That'd be complete disrespect to any opponent, and I would never speak that way about anybody. Bethune is a good football team with good football coaches, and all we're looking for is to play our very best football.
And let us not forget the loss to Florida International University, which still leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Florida International won just 6 games in 2019, and they play in Conference USA, which is not a Power 5 conference. And we lost that when Manny Diaz was coach, 30-24. How embarrassing. So let's don't forget the games that Miami's supposed to win, especially under Manny Diaz, they didn't win. But I really can't see that happening with Coach Mario Cristobal. Miami had 7 rushing touchdowns. That was one of his goals, he stated, was to rush the ball more and to run more. And man, how Miami ran the ball. 7 rushing touchdowns. Miami scored on 9 of 11 possessions. And remember that the last possession was to run out the clock. So you could say that Miami scored on 9 of 10 possessions, touchdowns. Another thing that Coach Cristobal was emphasizing was no penalties. Even though we got that stupid, unsportsmanlike conduct from Cameron Kitchens, there were no penalties on the offensive line. The defense had 2 sacks. Miami took care of business like we were supposed to do. Now, the Bethune-Cookman quarterback got some big runs, and there were times when the offensive line just couldn't keep him when the defensive line just couldn't keep him in the pocket. He scrambled out and made some big runs. Miami held Bethune-Cookman to 3 20-yard passes. And man, they took that opening kickoff and went right down the field.
3rd and 23 from their own 12-yard line. Here's Jones. Over the middle, and it's caught by Marcus Riley. He's at the 20. Still going. He's a speedster, and he gets the first down. A big play there by Bethune-Cookman. Once a Florida commit to Dan Mullen. Here he is over the middle again, and he connects over the middle. A nice move there by the wide receiver, number 8, Dylan Lee. Another first down, and now Bethune, despite the strange start, is moving the football.
To try and make Jones release the football earlier than he wants to.
Here's a blitz, but Jones is able to get the ball out there again to Dylan Lee at the 30, 25, still going down the sidelines, and he's near the 10-yard line and down there.
And I thought that they were going to get a touchdown, but Miami's defense manned up on about the 3-yard line and held them to a field goal. So Bethune-Cookman went up right off the bat, 3-0. And to be honest with you, I was just a little bit worried. But I knew in the end that Miami would come out on top with a huge victory, which they did. The defense picked off 3 Bethune-Cookman passes. Gilbert Frierson had a 32-yard pick six.
Play action and intercepted! Intercepted by Miami. Gilbert Frierson down the sidelines and into the end zone with a caravan of canes for the touchdown. A pick six for Miami, and they extend their lead to 27-3 as Gilbert Frierson.
And James Williams and Cameron Kitchens also had key interceptions. That's total yards, 586 for Miami, 342 for Bethune-Cookman. In passing, Bethune-Cookman had 249 yards, and Miami had 281. Now, Coach Cristobal could have lit them up. He could have had Tyler Van Dyke throw for another 300 plus yards, but Mario is not interested in individual awards. It's all about team for him. So he ran the ball far more than he did running the ball. I think that Tyler Van Dyke could have easily got 300-400 yards passing had Mario gone to the passing game. Now let's remember too that Bethune-Cookman scored 17 against the mighty Crimson Tide last year. Miami held them to 13 this year. In special teams for Miami, they have been nothing but special until this game.
What can that linebacking core do? And I need to see more pressure from the Miami defensive line.
And Miami fields the kickoff, and they're off and running. Keyshawn Smith down the sidelines, a foot race, and gets taken down at the 30-yard line.
Rushing, we rushed 93 times to get 305 yards, which is an astounding 7.3 yards per rush. Penalties that Coach Cristobal was looking to cut down on. Penalties, we had 6 for 48 yards. That unsportsmanlike by Cameron Kitchens put a dent in that. Take that away, and you've got 5 penalties for 35 yards, which is about what Mario was expecting. He was expecting 0 penalties. In turnovers, Miami created 3 turnovers, but they did have that fumble at the goal line. And Mario took responsibility for that. He said he put in a left-handed center to make that quarterback to center exchange, and Tyler Van Dyke went up under center instead of going from the shotgun, which he was used to, which the center was used to. He put in a special center for that, and they had that terrible fumble at the goal line that Bethune-Cookman recovered.
Van Dyke is going to be under center now. We haven't seen much of that. Tight formation. Fumble. Ball's on the ground. And Bethune says they've got it. And they do. So a miscue by Miami. Jaquan Jackson comes up with the fumble there.
And you know what, George, what I want to mention.
All 3 turnovers that Miami created against Bethune-Cookman, all 3 of them turned into touchdowns. Boy, that's a far cry from last year and years before, when we would get turnovers in good field position and then nothing happened. But this time it was different. 3 Bethune turnovers turned into touchdowns. In time of possession, Bethune-Cookman had 30 minutes and 15 seconds, and Miami had 29 minutes and 45 seconds. In passing, Tyler Van Dyke was 13 of 16 for 193 yards. 2 touchdowns, and zero interceptions.
Getting the proper technique down first. Here's Van Dyke, play action. Plenty of time. Has a man open. Restrepo catches the ball in Wildcat territory, and he's on the run. He's still going and falls down, tripped up by the turf monster.
Jake Garcia was a perfect 7 for 7 in passing with 88 yards. Boy, it's good to have Jake Garcia as a backup, I'm telling you. In rushing, Henry Parrish was the star of the game. In fact, Joe Zagacki and Don Bailey Jr. gave Henry Parrish the player of the game. That transfer from Ole Miss rushed for an astounding 108 yards with a, get this, 7.7 average and 3 touchdowns.
Pistol formation for Miami. Hand off up the middle to Parrish. Parrish gets in the end zone for a touchdown. The second touchdown for Miami, the second on the ground, and they take a 10-point lead.
Lucius Stanley, the grad transfer from UAB, which I really didn't expect to play because he's only been with the team since August 29th. I expected him maybe to see some special teams or something like that, but no. He earned the right from Mario Cristobal to get some quality snaps and to run the ball. Now listen to this. Lucius Stanley, because of injuries to Don Chaney and Trevante Citizen, he was the workhorse. The workhorse. He carried 6 times for 42 yards and averaged 7 yards.
Once again, I've seen enough Jaws movies and all that type stuff. Nah.
Garcia hands it off up the middle again to Lucius Stanley. He picks up the first down and then some.
And what can you say about Restrepo? Xavier Restrepo. He had 5 passes caught for 100 yards, 1 TD. He averaged 20 yards a carry, and his long was 52. He's an exciting Miami Hurricane to watch. Akeem Mesidor led the defense with 4 tackles, 3 solos, 1 sack, and 1 tackle for loss. And remember, he didn't play the whole game either. In kick returns, oh my goodness gracious, that was a weakness in the past. Wide receiver Keyshawn Smith had 3 kick returns for a gain of 184 yards. His average was 61 yards per return, and his long was 72. And he almost broke one for a touchdown, but the referee called him that he stepped out of bounds.
What can that linebacking core do? And I need to see more pressure from the Miami defensive line.
Miami fields the kickoff, and they're off and running. Keyshawn Smith down the sidelines, a foot race, and gets taken down at the 30-yard line. A huge return, 70 yards.
So what a game that Miami put on. What a display of awesomeness. What a display of old-time Miami Cane football. Listen, I'm like you. I'm looking forward to this season. I'll be giving a preview of the Southern Miss game coming up at 12 o'clock at Hard Rock this Saturday. And I'll be giving you a preview of that game and a preview of Southern Miss, located in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. They're coming down to Coral Gables, and I look for Miami to have another great game against the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. Go Canes!
Thanks for watching. And that's this little boy's first Miami Hurricane game.